Darkness kills, destroys the will. Find a spark, make hearts thrill. Hear the tales of time so grim. Shine a light, don't let it dim. Heather Brown downtown, bound. True crime story she's found. In the shadows, secret stay. Need a light that finds the way.
Welcome back to another very exciting episode of Defeating the Darkness. True crime stories with Downtown Heather Brown. That's me, your host. I'm a former homicide and sexual assault prosecutor here in Orange County, California. And today I have with me some of my favorite people, and I'm super fired up and excited that they were able to come and honor me and be guests on my show. We have B.A.C.A with us, which you will learn what B.A.C.A means and who they are and what they do. And they're a bunch of badass bikers that are defeating the darkness by standing up and trying to protect and serve the community with children and underage people who are victims of child abuse in any form or fashion. So here they are. Welcome to the show. We have with us the Vice President, Doc. We have Little Trout, who's the agency liaison, and I'm cheating because they have them on their cuts. And we have Sunny, who's the president of B.A.C.A in LA. And we have Cat Whack, who I can't even see her name, but I know her name because she's a friend of mine. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
I'm so excited. Okay, so we'll start, since there's 4 of you and 1 of me. I'm so excited to have you here today. So I will start with you, Little Trout. Tell us about your role in B.A.C.A. First, why don't you tell us what B.A.C.A is?
So B.A.C.A is we're a 501c3. And
that's a nonprofit, yeah?
That is a nonprofit,
okay.
Thank you. We're a 501c3, and we're an organization that helps to empower abused children not to be afraid in the world in which they live. We obviously can't change the world in which they live in, but we definitely can be a part of helping these children heal.
Awesome. And Sunny, you're the president of the LA chapter.
Correct.
Okay, and so Little Trout and Cat Whack are from, and Doc, are you from the Orange County?
Orange County too.
Okay, you're all from the Orange County chapter. So I want to ask you, Sunny, being the president of the LA chapter, B.A.C.A is a nonprofit, like Little Trout just told us, but you are a motorcycle club, correct?
Not a club.
Oh, okay.
We're not a club. We're an organization. Not an MC or a club or a riding club. Because of us being a 501c3, we use the term organization or nonprofit.
Okay, so when you say MC, that stands for Motorcycle Club?
Motorcycle Club.
There's a lot of people that don't know all the cool lingo. So are you guys able to talk about that and tell me about it?
There's nothing wrong with being an MC. It's just that we're not an MC. So we want to correct that if we can.
Okay, all right, I love it. Okay, so you're an organization that is comprised of bikers.
Yes.
So people with motorcycles, right? And can you be a member of B.A.C.A if you don't have a motorcycle?
If you have a permanent back seat.
We call them backpacks.
Backpacks?
Backpacks.
Is that the lingo?
That's what. Yes. So if you're riding with Tom Brown, then you would be considered a backpack.
I'm his backpack?
His backpack.
Oh, no. That is not happening. He is not listening to this episode, and we ain't telling him that either. No.
We have other sayings that we probably shouldn't say on a podcast.
Why? It's my podcast. You can say whatever you want.
Well, let me rephrase that then. A sister can get on the back of my bike, but Doc, we ain't riding nuts to butts.
No. Yeah.
He's not getting on the back of my bike.
Okay, got you. Okay, there's no dudes be in your backpack.
No.
Okay. Got you. So Tom Brown can't be your backpack?
Tom, you going to buy me a new bike?
That's not Tom.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, are you going to buy me a new bike? That's my next guest who's coming up. Okay, so back to the backpack.
Sorry, off track.
We are so off topic. I love it. Okay, so maybe Tom could be my backpack. I better learn how to ride then, huh?
You got to learn how to ride.
Okay. So but most of the people in your organization ride.
Yes.
Or they're married to someone who rides in their permanent backpack there. Okay, that's cool. All right. And so what is it exactly that Bikers Against Child Abuse do?
Real simple, short elevator speech. We empower children, as she said, to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We do things, if you read our mission statement, it's real short, sweet, and to the point. We work in conjunction with local and state officials already in place to help children. But one of the things I'll say, and she does agency liaison way better than I do. I'm also the agency liaison for the LA chapter. Police can't guard a house unless it's a real high profile case. When a perpetrator is getting ready to go to court, knows he's going to go to jail, they might try to intimidate that child. They'll drive by the house and scare the kid. We'll guard that house 24/7. We'll clear the yard, we'll clear everything, and we will be there 24 hours a day, even if that child goes to school, because then we got to clear the house, the yard, and set everything up. And it empowers them. We've had many cases like that. And one of the cases that we were on in LA, the kid actually didn't believe it because she came and did a presentation when she became over 18 because of how we helped her. And she said she didn't really believe it. She poked her head outside about 2 a.m. and saw us standing there, and she went back to sleep.
Wow.
It's a real simple organization. It's probably the simplest thing I've ever done. And it is extremely, extremely empowering for the child. It's that simple of an organization.
It's just about showing up.
That's it.
That's it. We just show up.
And so do you get people? So that's one of the reasons that I brought you on the show. I just think you guys are amazing. When I learned about your organization, I didn't really understand what you all did. When I was a DA, when I was in the best position to, tell children who needed your resource that you provide, I didn't know about you. And it's a crying shame that I didn't, because I knew tons of children that were abused and I worked with them. And I would have loved for them to have had something like a B.A.C.A to come alongside them in their darkest hour and just really empower them and bring their power back and bring their spirit back and make them feel safe and protected, which is, as you know, people that are being abused, whether it be child sexual abuse or physical abuse, they feel like their power has been taken from them. Mm-hmm. And so to bring that back to them by, coming alongside them is an amazing thing. And I applaud all of you for your efforts. I know you said you're a nonprofit, but are you all just volunteers?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a group full of volunteer bikers who want to come alongside children who've been either physically or sexually abused. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be under 18, right, to qualify for the services. And when I say services, I mean the resource of having you guys basically as like a second family to watch over these young children. Is that fair to say?
They're part of our family.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. When they join B.A.C.A, they become part of our family. They get their cut, they get their road name, they get to pick a back patch. We put patches on their cut that represents who they are, because if you think about it, the choices have been taken away from them. And so by giving these little things to them, it allows them to begin to get their choices back and the decisions up to them even wanting to be in B.A.C.A. Sometimes the parent will think it's a great idea and the child's, just not ready. I mean, we've gone on different times where showed up to the house and the parents were gung-ho, and she'll attest she was there and the child just wasn't ready or wasn't interested, and that's okay.
Yeah. So tell the listeners a little bit about, when you learn of a child that's been abused, someone needs to know that, like, hey, you could use B.A.C.A as a resource, and they will then call a phone number, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They call an 800 number.
Okay. And Catwhack, you do you man that one of those?
I do. I answer the phones 24/7.
Wow. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they could call and say, hey, we need your help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any child who's been abused either physically or sexually, but do they have to have a criminal case that's going
It has to be reported.
to law enforcement?
To law enforcement.
So as long as it's reported, even if the DA chooses not to file a case, B.A.C.A can still provide resources to the children.
2 criteria. Child needs to be afraid and a reported case. That's it. To a mandated reporter. Doesn't have to be going to court. Child needs to be afraid of what's going on. And that's really it.
And
Those 2
have
criteria.
report. Wow. So anybody who's listening, if your child, God forbid, ends up being abused physically or sexually and needs a resource to come alongside your child to bring them, back their sense of safety and power. So you were saying that you give them a cut and they get to be a member basically of B.A.C.A, right? They obviously don't need a motorcycle, right? Okay. Or
They get a ride.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they actually do get a motorcycle ride.
so fun. They brought me for a ride. B.A.C.A came and brought me for a ride to show me what they actually, kind of exactly what they do for the children. And it was such a magical experience. I had so much fun, especially, because I've gone on motorcycle rides, my whole life, but to be with all of those motorcycles at the same time, traveling together was really super, super fun and amazing.
I'd like to add something. You said under 18, which is true. However, if the child becomes over 18, they're still a B.A.C.A child. We still go to court. Just real quick, one of the cases that I was a primary to, she finally had her day in court after about 7 years of me being her primary. She was 21 years old.
Oh my goodness.
But we were there for her impact statement and everything else. So just because they've aged out, she was a B.A.C.A child when she was 14 or 15 or what have you. So they're still a B.A.C.A child.
Yeah, that's so cool. So being a B.A.C.A child, so you come, does the whole chapter come and give the child a motorcycle ride?
Bunch of us, other chapters show up.
Dude, that's so cool for a kid. Just, never mind getting to be a part of your family, but to go on that ride is really cool. And you give them like a leather vest or a jean vest, or what is it?
It's a jean vest. It's similar to like the one that we.
The one you gave me. Oh, I got it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get up, Pete. I don't know if this is breaking the law or the rules, but I want everybody to see this cool shadow box that they brought me after I went on my ride. Is it in the frame, Pete? And yeah, it's got my little, obviously it doesn't fit me. But they gave me a little jean vest and my road name, Downtown. And a little, I love this little Black Widow spider web because they call me the Brown Widow also. And because I prosecute my kill. And then we have the little queen because, such a.
So see how that cut represents you. So when Cowwick and I put that together, we picked things that represent who you are.
And it's signed by all the members of B.A.C.A that took me on the motorcycle ride too. So that was so cool. This is such a precious, special gift. Thank you so much. I love it. All right, let me get back to my spot. So
one of the things that you would also mention too is if it's the children have been sexually or physically abused, we also can help children that have maybe witnessed domestic violence.
Witnessed a
If
crime.
they witness a crime, if they're in fear, if they witness like more of a serious crime. We've had children that have witnessed maybe a murder and they were the witness to that and they're in fear. We can also take children over the age of 18 with special circumstances, say they're special needs or autistic or anything like that. We do have to go higher up just to get permission to do that, but we are able to take children in circumstances like that as well.
This is incredible. So I just love that you have this resource. So you mentioned that it's called posting up, right? You post up on the house when you go overnight to guard them. So let's say a child is going to court the next day and they're terrified. Your whole organization will ride out to the house ahead of time and just stay outside and guard the house overnight?
It's not the whole chapter. We do it in shifts, usually of 4, and sometimes they're a day or two. I've been on them that have lasted weeks. We had one that lasted probably 4 months. We've gone out of state to other states to help out.
So your organization, B.A.C.A, is it a worldwide organization? International. That's incredible. And there are chapters here in Orange County, LA, Riverside, all over California?
Yes.
And where else are they?
All across the nation, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. Did I miss anybody?
Italy.
Well, Italy is Europe, right?
Yeah.
Italy's the first one in Europe.
I would ask the same question just for the record. They sound like different places. When I hear Europe, I think London. That's in Europe. Right? I'm just kidding.
We have them in England.
Really? Yep. That's so cool.
Not bad since it started in 1995.
Yeah,
it's grown that fast.
Just celebrated 30 years.
Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. Oh my God, I love what you guys do. And it's all volunteer organization.
Yes,
and you 100%. Volunteer your time. I'm assuming that you're got to be on call, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And is that a 24/7? Like you get the call, you got to roll?
Yes. Yep. As a primary, Doc, go ahead.
We're big on promises. Like, these kids have had their choices taken away, right? So we're big on making sure that everything is on their terms, right? Whether it's the patches on their vest, how they want to interact with us, just really giving them that power back.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Okay, so you can post up on their house, and do you actually attend court with them? I know you mentioned a
Yes.
sentencing hearing and everything.
Yes.
So if the child's afraid to go testify in court, you will go to court with the child, and
Usually, most of the judges will allow us in. Sometimes they make us take our cuts off. I've sat on the stand with some of my kids. I know you know, being an attorney, you can't say anything, but
they're allowed to have a support person next to them.
if they want, yes. I've
Yeah.
only done it a couple of times, but and a lot of people have done that.
And so tell me, just from your experience, when you're there in court, like, what's that like for the child? Like, is it one of you, two of you, or a bunch of you go with them to court?
Just depends on the judge in the courtroom. Sometimes we're all allowed to go in there. Sometimes it's just a handful. We went to another court out of another in another chapter, and they let like 30 of us in, like literally cleared out the area so that all of B.A.C.A could be in there. There's like about 30 of us from all different chapters. I think like 5 or 6 chapters showed up for that particular event, and it was huge because that child gave their impact statement, and just us being there gives them that support. That, you know, I mean, you know the difference between having a child testify and not testifying. Like, what's the conviction rate? So with B.A.C.A being there and the child testifying, that conviction rate goes way up.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you can get them,
And
to
Heather,
take the
if
stand.
the child doesn't want some of us in there, because some of them don't, they may just want 2 sisters in there. It might be a young lady, and she doesn't want to Doc and me and other guys to hear about it. We stay in the hallway. So it's up to the child also.
That's really cool. And
Some
then
of them want all of us in there, and some, like Sunny said, sometimes it's just the primary. Some, you know, the 2 people that they're assigned to them that they've built that relationship with. And sometimes we've actually had to go to court without ever meeting the child ahead of time. We got a call from an advocate and said, "Hey, this child's could use B.A.C.A. Can you be there tomorrow?" I mean, she'll get the phone call and she's calling everybody up like, "Hey, we got to get some people there tomorrow." And never once has B.A.C.A failed a child, and they're not showing up when it's a last minute like that.
that's awesome.
People show up. That's what we do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You guys even like get calls from out of state saying, "Hey, we need you." And I remember a story, I think you told me one time, where it was like Arizona or Nevada that you went to.
Arizona.
Arizona, right? How many people showed up to that event, that incident in Arizona?
About 150.
150 bikers showed up to help one child.
Yes, ma'am.
That's got to be so powerful.
Like when they say one B.A.C.A, that means one B.A.C.A. Like if their chapters, you know, puts out, "Hey, we got a level 1 or we got court and we really need support," you know, people just show up. That's what we signed up for. Like the hard work starts. Like it takes a year to even be considered for a patch. But once you get that patch, that's when the real work starts, because then you become a primary. Then you've got kids calling you and texting you, or, you know, that.
And what's a
that's when-
primary for our listeners? It's like the child's contact.
So every child gets assigned 2 primaries. Those primaries have a special relationship with that child. They get, every child gets their phone numbers of the primaries and gets told pretty much, "You can contact us anytime. That's what we're here for." And as I said earlier, these kids have had their choice taken away. So when we're making that promise, we always stick through it. That's one of the big things in our training. If you ever promise these kids anything, you make sure it happens. So when we tell these kids, you know, we're going to answer the phone, that means, you know, no do not disturb, no, you know, I'm at work, you're answering the phones for these kids. So you develop that relationship with them, knowing that they can contact you, you're there for them. And then so that relationship then extends into court. We do parties twice a year. The kids come in, you know, to the B.A.C.A parties, get to see their primaries and kind of hang out. And it's just another way of saying, you know, we're here for you. These are your 2 special people. Whatever we can help you with, we'll do our best to help you with.
That's
I
awesome.
always say B.A.C.A will show up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if for some reason, like I say I can't go to court, B.A.C.A will show up for you. There's always going to be somebody that's going to show up for these kids, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And it's all volunteer. How are you guys funded? Do we need to get our listeners
Donations.
to donate? Did you hear that? If you think this organization's amazing like I do, then you should donate. Where do they go to donate to you?
www.bacaworld.org.
www.bacaworld.org. That's where you can go to donate to B.A.C.A, Bikers Against Child Abuse. It's a whole entire nonprofit funded by donations from wonderful people who care about the children and bringing light to their darkest time. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so I have so many other questions that have been popping up in my head. So how does one join? Like, do you need volunteers also as well, in addition to funding?
Always.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does, like, if Tom Brown in his retirement wanted to actually go and work or do something, although I would ideally want him to make some money.
That's funny because we've asked Tom Brown if he would like to join show up at a meeting. So
Okay, maybe he will. He might surprise you one day. Every now and again, he throws a curveball at me, so it could happen. I'm
And
just
then you
saying.
could be his backpack.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not
Or we'll get you on
anybody.
your own bike, then you can come ride with us.
Can I have
Yeah.
sparkles? Can I be a sparkly backpack?
You
You can.
Yes. Yep.
I got sparkly shoes.
Okay, good.
Yes, you do. Always.
Always.
Okay, so if Tom Brown wanted to join B.A.C.A,
Yes.
what are the qualifications? Like, he's got to have a motorcycle, know how to ride it.
Yes, pass the background check.
Okay, I don't know. He's a he's a snake oil salesman, that Tom Brown. God only knows what's in his background.
So you show up to 2 meetings in a row. And then if you're interested, then you'll go roll your fingerprints. We're fully
Does
vetted.
the backpack need to get fingerprinted
Yes.
as well?
If the backpack is going to be joining B.A.C.A, yes. So
Okay.
anybody that's going to be interacting with the children has to have their fingerprints rolled. And then once they're cleared, then you can actually start participating in activities that involve the children. But until you're cleared, you're pretty much on hold until they come back clear.
So your background gets cleared, then what happens? Is there some initiation? Do you have to earn a cut? Like,
You pick your own cut. You
I
pick
watch
your-
Sons of Anarchy. I know how this goes down.
Nothing like, yeah,
lingo.
so-
You don't have to whack 2 people or anything?
No, no.
Okay.
No, you go through training. First of all, initial training sponsor, the very beginning. So there's certain webinars or trainings or the handbook that they read so that they know how to act around a kid, kind of, and court what to do, and then they get released. So what Lil Trout said is factual. You got to have rolled background check, DOJ, FBI, all that stuff. Then a little bit of training, and then they pick a sponsor. So a back patch will sponsor what we call a prospect or a slick back or whatever.
Okay, hold on. We got to break this down. This is
ahead.
the juicy stuff that the listeners love. Okay, and me. I'm just blaming it on them, but I want it. So you were talking about your vest is called a cut,
Yes.
and you said you're a patch?
A
What'd you
back patch, a member.
a back patch?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a-
We all have back
that
patches.
means you're a
earned it.
member.
You're a member.
That's what you when you join B.A.C.A, that's what you're working towards. And when you have that back patch, that means you can actually become a primary to a child, where, like Doc was talking about, the 2 people that are assigned to that child once they become a B.A.C.A kid.
Okay, so if you don't have your back patch yet,
You're still a supporter.
you're a supporter. And there was something you were just saying, a pledge, not a pledge, what's it
I
called?
call them prospects. Some
Prospect.
people call them supporters. I
Okay.
call them prospects.
Okay. And so the prospect means you might get a back patch one day
Means they have to
and
earn
be
it.
as cool as the 4 of you. Do you all have back patches before?
Yes.
I didn't verify you first. Okay. Before I go insulting you. Okay. So the prospects are the ones that are trying to get in, and then it takes a year for
Minimum.
that.
Minimum.
Oh, sometimes it takes people longer, right?
Some that is the minimum requirement that B.A.C.A has put out in our P&Ps, our policies and procedures. Some chapters say a year and a half, which you can increase. You cannot decrease that year. There's a couple of chapters I believe they have 2 years before they'll patch somebody.
Okay.
So
But it's like us vetting them. So just because you want to join B.A.C.A doesn't mean you're going to be a fit for B.A.C.A.
So
And
Tom,
not everybody's
Tom
a
could
fit.
get kicked out, is what you're saying. Okay.
Tom Brown isn't doing what he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No, but if you think about it, you go to court, and not everybody can sit there and listen to what that child has to say. And we go in there. We have training for this specifically for court etiquette. And some people, maybe you do your first court, and like I always remember my first court, and I was sitting next to Catwhack, and this little girl is telling her story, and like I wanted to because it was so emotional. And I'm like wanting to hold her hand because like you have to sit there and just be, you're there for the child, and you have to think about, I'm there for the child, and you can't let your emotions get in the way of it,
Have you ever had interactions with like family members? Like, because generally speaking, the people that are abusing children are the people that they know, love, and trust, that have access to them and recurring access, especially in domestic violence, right? physical abuse cases, it's usually, a family member. So, and, sexual abuse cases, unfortunately, the same. So, do you ever interact with the family members?
Of the perp?
Yeah, like at the perp, because sometimes they're the same.
They've tried, but we ignore them. And if we're in court, usually the bailiffs get involved and such. We try to avoid that kind of action. I mean, we're not going to let them get to the kid, obviously, but usually the bailiffs, the sheriffs, LAPD, whoever's in the courtroom will get in between the family.
And were you telling me? I remember you were telling me the wall of leather. Tell me about that.
So the wall of leather is, for an example was there was a court, and the child came in and sat down with some B.A.C.A members, and they did because the family was on this side and the child was over here with B.A.C.A, and they were all trying to, intimidate that child. So B.A.C.A did what they called the wall of leather, and the judge actually let them stand through the whole time in the court, because it made that child feel safe, because the family members were over there trying to intimidate that child. When we go into, when we're waiting in courtroom, we'll try, not in the courtroom, but we're waiting outside to go into the courtroom.
In the hallway, yeah.
The hallway. Usually we'll go into the corner. We know who the perp is. We have a sergeant at arms who will, always know who the perp is. Certain people have pictures, and so we know if we see the perp, hey, we're going to move over to the corner. Usually we're sitting on the ground. If you're ever in court and you see us in the hallway, we're usually on the floor playing Uno with the kids. It's it's keeping them distracted and until they have to go in.
Wow. What a great resource. I wish I knew. When I was a DA, because I would have.
You do now, and it's getting out there.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That's why I had you on, because I want people to know about this incredible organization that is just doing such amazing things. And you're all volunteers. I love that, God put it in your heart to try to give back and help children of crime. It's really an amazing thing. My hat's off to you guys. Thank you. God bless you for doing that. Okay, so now I have some more little questions about the organization. That's what they call the CIA, the other, right?
We're not associated with them.
OGA, right? What is it? Other government, or I don't know. So anyway, I just learned that on another episode with Scott Gicking, an FBI agent. He was giving me the scoop. I'm like, does that mean the CIA? So, but who you are not associated with, right?
No.
So, okay, let me ask you this. So back to being a member of B.A.C.A. So once you get your patch, then you can become a primary, and then you do all kinds of events, right? Like, I've been to some of your events. They're really cool. Tell us about your events that people can support and go to and tell people about.
Well, once a year we do, and it's coming up, it's called Day of the Child. And
when is it? I'll be there.
June 7th.
Okay, June 7th. And where is it at?
Lincoln Park at Higher Ground. Lincoln Park at Higher Ground.
Okay.
And so what that is, over the years we've developed these relationships with agencies, and we have to. We show up. Her and I do a lot of the networking, and we'll go to different collaboration meetings, or we're part of different organizations that are helping families already. And so it's just building these relationships. Well, we've managed to get about 60 agencies this time. All show up together, and it's a resource fair for anybody in the community that wants to come. So they can, apply for, Medi-Cal or get food or different things at this event. It's just to bring awareness. We also work with in collaboration with other organizations and do their events. So it's about awareness. The more that we're out there doing different things, the more that people will see what B.A.C.A is about. Because like you said, you hadn't heard of us before until you saw us, and it was at Patricia's event.
Yeah, I was at
Survivors Run Walk a couple years ago.
Exactly.
That's when we first met.
I remember you guys came up to me at my booth, and we were chatting, and I just thought you were awesome.
And that's how we start building relationships, is just meeting other people, reaching out. Hey, what do you do? What are you doing to help families? This is what we do. We're a free organization. We're a free resource. And if we don't have the answers, because we built all these amazing relationships with the community, we can call them up and say, hey, I need to get a restraining order. Okay, we can't help you that, but I know somebody who can, because we've fostered these relationships within our community.
That's amazing. I love it. I love that you do this. Okay, so now on a personal note, okay, your road name, right? That's what it's called, your road name that you have on your patch on the front of your cut. See, I'm getting the lingo down. Maybe I will be a backpack.
Good.
Okay, so Doc, are you a doctor? Like, how do you guys get
I'm
your
not-
road names?
So the guy that brought me into B.A.C.A, Mad Mike, he was a coworker of mine. and
Was his road name Mad
his
Mike?
road name was Mad Mike.
Okay, I like that one.
And I'm a former paramedic and was working in the medical field. And he was like, "Oh, you're Doc." So that's kind of where I got my name. He just assigned it to me.
Okay. So I was going to ask you in terms of, and I'll ask each one of you, but how is it that one gets their road name? Do you choose it or?
Most of the
Most
time.
of the
Most
time.
of the time.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets chosen for you. We don't want that to happen.
Okay. So little trout.
And there is a big trout.
There is a big trout. Okay. Is Big Trout your husband?
I hope so.
Yeah.
He is.
Is he
Yeah.
just Trout or is
He's
he
just Trout. Yeah,
Okay.
he's just Trout. So it's a play off of our last name. So we used to go with a lot of friends and they'd say, "Where's the Trouts at? Where's the Trouts at?" So when we joined B.A.C.A, he picked Trout and then I just picked Little Trout.
I love that.
So it goes hand
So
in
you
hand.
got to choose your road name.
I got to choose my road name.
Okay. Sonny,
Picked mine.
you picked
It
your
was
own.
my father's nickname, and it had to do with a couple other things, and it just, excuse me, was a fit. So
Okay. And Catwhack?
Catwhack.
I'm
was-
guessing that's not your given name.
No, it's not my given name, but
Okay.
it was a nickname when I was a child. So they gave me about 5 minutes to pick a name, and this is what came up. So, I probably could have picked something better had I had more time, but, Catwhack's it.
Catwhack it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so my road name's Downtown. I picked it.
I want to add something to that.
Yes.
Though. Make sure that if you do join, you say it right away. I'll just give you one quick example. Somebody cleared background check in our chapter meeting, and we said, "Kat, you cleared. What do you want your road name to be?" She goes, "Awesome." We said, "Okay. Well, that's not what I want." That was what came out of her mouth, so her road name is Awesome.
That's not
So you need to make sure that you're saying your road name before you speak up, because like we all said, most of the time you get to pick it, but it's kind of the first thing that might come out of your mouth, as long as it's kid friendly.
Oh my God. So I didn't know this, but our son is in the military. He's a pilot. He's a drone pilot in the Marines. And thank you for your service, son.
Thank you for your service.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, I love my son. He's great. But when he was in, flight school or, you get your road name, like in Top Gun, it's like Maverick, right? And Goose. And I don't know if Goose is the coolest one, but I mean, it's cool now, right? Because we love the movie, but could have gone the other way. But so, I am confident that like my son was excited to like get his call sign, right? You get your cool call sign, because he's
It's like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
it's a rite of passage, right? Now you're like a badass pilot and everything. So I'm like, well, there was a day where they get their call sign. So I was like, what's your call sign? Well, he was so upset. So they named him Hey Hey. And I'm like, Hey Hey. And I didn't even know what it was. And then my other son, Nick goes, it's that dumb bird in the movie. I don't know if it's Moana or something. Oh, that was not the call sign that you were hoping for, is it? Anyway, I hope he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't.
So he didn't get to pick his then, right?
He did not get to pick it. Hey, I'm like, they named you after a dodo bird? Are you kidding me? So, yeah, that is not a good sign, right? So, all right, okay, so you get your road name, and then you're in the club, and you guys go on rides together and everything,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then you do all the stuff for the children.
Right.
And I had the pleasure of going to Cook's Corner with you one day. Cook's Corner is a local haunt. Debbie, if you're listening, I know you loved it when I took you there. I will not tell the listeners what you said to me. But I will tell my friends when we're off air. Anyway, I should probably tell it now.
Yeah, you should probably tell.
She's going to kill me. Do you think she'll kill me?
We don't know.
Don't know what
it
she
is.
said.
Okay.
But it makes good for good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pete, we're
There you
just
go,
going to have
girl.
to get
Good
rid
job.
of her last name. And I'll just say my friend Debbie, who's from out of town where I grew up. She came out to visit, and I took her all around, and we went to Cook's. Like, where I'm from, and on the East Coast in Massachusetts, it's like a small town, right? And so there's not a lot of guys there, right? It's like anybody you dated, 5 of your friends have dated them, right? Like when you live in a small town, there's not a lot to Slim Pickens. She's got a lovely boyfriend now, but it was Slim Pickens, right? So she comes out to visit, and we go to Cook's, and she got so much attention. She's gorgeous, right? And she is wildly fun, like one of the funnest friends I have. And she was dancing and doing cartwheels on the, with the band. There was a live band, bikers everywhere. Debbie loves the bikers, So she's looking around and she's like, oh my God. She goes, I could never live here. She's like, I'd have an STD within the week.
I was going to say, let me know next time she comes out.
Debbie, Sunny, if you're single, Sunny's single too. I'm just throwing that out for the listeners. Sunny's single. So I'm going to be
Debbie, I'll give her my phone number for later on. You can call me.
I think she'd like you, Sunny. I do. And she's great fun. So I just thought, oh my God.
Is my face red?
Yes.
Yeah, a little
It feels
bit.
like it.
It's a little bit. It matches your cut, your colors. Okay, let's talk about the colors. So your colors are black. And I know that that's like a thing with motorcycle clubs. I know you're not a motorcycle club, but tell us about the colors and stuff like that.
Want me to? You too?
Good.
White's the innocent of the child. The black is the dark times. The red is the blood they've shed. Our fist is commitment to stop child abuse. The skull and crossbones is death to child abuse. And the chain is one B.A.C.A United Organization. So if they do go to the B.A.C.A World website, there's a video on there. And as Tree says, the patch is everything to us. It's what we do. And it represents everything regarding the child in our organization.
Wow. I just got chills when you were saying that. That's so cool. Make sure we put that on a clip, Pete. I loved it. Okay. So back to the colors and your patch and everything. When you go out to, say, somewhere like Cook's, what we were talking about, I digressed and told you that crazy story. But when we went to Cook's, there's a lot of motorcycle clubs, actual motorcycle clubs that go to Cook's. That's where all the motorcycles go, the bikers go. It's super fun. You should go to Cook's Corner if you're in Orange County. Everyone there is lovely. The bands are great. There's you can do a little shopping, which upsets my husband. And the food's good too. Mm-hmm. And Misty and Rhonda are some of the greatest bartenders there are, and so you should go there. Anyway, just a shout out to our cooks. But when you go there and you run into these other motorcycle clubs, but when you run into motorcycle clubs, when your organization is there, do they ever give you guys a hard time or anything like that?
No. We're not associated with anybody, but we affiliate. Because of the MC community, everybody's a good guy. There's people in any organization, the few people that aren't that great. Mm-hmm. But because of the image of a motorcycle organization is why this works. So we're really to all those MCs out there that stand their ground. The difference between motorcycle riders and everybody else is they're very loyal. You respect them. You don't disrespect them. They'll be respectful to you. And so we affiliate with all. They know we're Switzerland. We're neutral.
Okay.
And what kid doesn't like motorcycles? Like, we'll be riding down the street and some cars riding past us, and the kids are rolling down their window waving at us.
Yeah.
Like, and I've heard one person tell me before, they said, I always tell my kid, if you get lost, go find a biker. They're going to help you.
Yeah.
And that stands true.
Yeah, that's true. And
find the biggest, hairiest, baddest biker. You make sure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And what you were saying is that's why your organization works, because I know if a group of bikers is like standing around my child that I've abused, right? I'd be scared. Now, I love that you kind of reverse the roles. Now they're scared. But the reality is, you're not going to beat them up or anything.
No. We're not vigilantes. We're just there. We're there strictly for the child. That's it.
We don't focus on the perp. We focus on the kid.
I love that.
Yeah.
Focus on the kid. But, some loser who's beating his kid or sexually abusing his child doesn't know that you're not ready to throw down. Not that you wouldn't be, because if you had to, I'm guessing you would, just like I would, right? In the parking lot.
Yeah.
If I had to, I'd pull off my high heel, whack them in the head, right?
But you got to remember, everything that we do with our patch on is a reflection of anybody could be watching.
So
You got to keep that in mind. Anybody could be watching. And what if we ride past and flip somebody off? What if that's the DA or a judge? You know what I'm saying? So that patch means like you have to represent yourself in a different way, because you never know who's watching. So, and we could, if we do something that could hurt that case, we don't want to be the one that a case gets thrown out because of something we did. That's why our training is super important. You know, before we even let a supporter step into a courtroom, they have to have that training, you know. And then also there's training on triggers, like what might trigger that child. We don't want to be the one to trigger that child into being more fearful. So maybe the trigger is they don't like bald guys with chains. So there will never be a bald guy with chains around that child if that is something that triggers that child. Certain colognes, perfumes, you never know. So when we initially meet with the child, they ask all those questions, like what could trigger that child?
Oh, I love that. Wow, you guys are really well trained and vetted and a professional organization that just comes along children and helps them to heal.
We do an intake with the child, so we know these things. We ask those questions, and we want to make sure that the child knows what we do so that they're comfortable with us. And then we have questions for them, and so we do that intake with them before they become a B.A.C.A child.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm back to my personal questions. Doc, why did you get involved with B.A.C.A?
Just as a paramedic, I unfortunately saw some terrible things happen to children that I had to respond to, and I felt like there needed to be something more. Also, working in the mental health field with abused children, non-B.A.C.A, I realized that there was a huge way to incorporate B.A.C.A into helping these kids. And that's what our founder in 95 did. He was a child play therapist and realized that, and a biker, realizing, oh, having these bikers around these kids actually empowers them and helps them. So I kind of followed the same path our founder did a little bit.
That's awesome. I love that. Lil Trout, what about you?
So I am a survivor, and I have had so many people come up to me and say, I wish B.A.C.A was there for me when I was a child. And usually they're about my age. You know, happened when I was 12, 13, and 14 years old. And, you know, it wasn't talked about. It wasn't something that was acceptable, and you just kind of shoved it under the table. And so when this came about, I was really busy with life, and I had so much going on. And a friend of mine, she's in B.A.C.A, shout out to Teal. She's the one that kept talking to Trout and I and saying, you really should join B.A.C.A, you really should join B.A.C.A. And I'm like, I'm so busy. And she said, it's going to change your life. And so I joined strictly just to be a supporter. And when I went to court the very first time and did a first level 1, like, I still remember that little boy to this day. I remember how scared he was, and he was hiding behind his mom. And after we were there for like 45 minutes, like, we were running in the park with him and playing with him and, you know, going to the ice cream truck. And to see that child go from someone that was just this little scared little boy into this child who all of a sudden wants to come out and play and had a smile on his face. My whole life changed after that. And everything I did, I put a back burner to, and I jumped into B.A.C.A fully. And you know, I did all my trainings. I did everything I could because I wanted that back patch. I wanted to be that person to affect and be a part of that child's life. And so on a personal level, as a survivor, I'm that person that wasn't there for me.
That's amazing. Oh, God bless you for doing
And
that.
and every child that I get to help heals my heart a little bit more too. So
Isn't it funny how that works? I wish more people realize that.
Yeah.
The you know, there's so much power and healing and just
well, when you get out of self, you don't have time to think about what you're going through. And you
Exactly.
can see these children, and I know what it feels like. I know the pain and the suffering as a child because I went through it. And hopefully by intervening, and, you know, maybe they didn't have to make some of the same choices or bad decisions that maybe some of us did in life, and heal from that before.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well said. Thank you. I couldn't even come up with the words, but that's exactly what I wanted to say. Okay, Sonny. Sonny.
I believe in giving back. I don't like bullies, and kids are our future. I mean, they're innocent. They don't know how to lie. I just can't see doing anything else until I can't ride no more. And then I'll probably get a trike or a sidecar. Probably a sidecar.
I like those little sidecars.
Well, a kid can sit in that, be kind of cool, and it's still a motorcycle.
What am I called if I'm in my husband's sidecar? Am I still a backpack?
A side pack? I don't know.
What do I consider
Yeah, we
this?
never thought of
I don't know if there is lingo. Well, that's awesome. Who told you about B.A.C.A?
An ex-girlfriend, actually. She
Oh.
was with Wraparound, and she knows I've been in other organizations that have helped out, and she brought home a trifold, and I made a phone call, and They said, come into a meeting, and I went to a meeting, and I went to another meeting, and
And now you're the president.
yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
You didn't see that coming.
No.
That's
That
awesome.
was it, yeah. So,
Well, thanks to the ex-girlfriend for telling you about it,
yeah,
right?
really.
That's good.
I agree.
Okay. And how about you, Catwhack?
Well, I just gotten a motorcycle, and a friend of mine, Jester, who's also in our, she told me about it. She'd met somebody and told me about it and took me to my first meeting. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty good. And went to the second meeting and started to be a supporter. And just like Little Trout, as soon as I saw that kid, as soon as I saw them with us coming around the corner and making all the noise and them just looking wide-eyed, it was like, yeah, this is something I got to do. That's something I got to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So a group of your organizations will come out, and when you first meet the child, and that's when they get their cut, right? And is that like kind of an initiation ceremony for the child to join?
Ceremonial.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's ceremonial, but picture this, and it's, picture yourself as like maybe a 6-7-year-old child, and they've been abused, and they know these people are coming for them, and literally if you get 30 motorcycles, can you imagine how far away you hear
I
that
love the
rumble? It's the
noise.
raddest sound. Oh my
Oh,
gosh!
let's talk about the noise for a second too. Finish what you're saying,
Okay.
but remind me.
But keep in mind that this child has been abused, probably totally afraid, and all of a sudden you hear this rumble like a mile away. Just literally, you can hear the motorcycles. And we just come in, and they know that all these people are there for them. Like, think of the impact. Just that first initial, coming to meet them as a chapter. And then if outside chapters come and support that as well. I've been at ones where there's like 30 motorcycles, and it's so loud, and you just see the smile on their face. They get so excited, and they realize that we're all there for them. That's the initial impact that we can see as we're riding up. And then what's even better is when they get off that motorcycle, if they ride. And I always tell the parents, if I'm standing next to the parent, I'm like, watch when they take that helmet off and you see the biggest smile. Like, that's our payback. Like, we don't get paid to do what we do, but our payback looks a little bit differently. And it's seeing the smiles and seeing laughter and just knowing that these kids can like begin to heal, and we're a part of it. We're all a part of that.
That's
We do get paid
Yeah.
in smiles and hugs.
Yeah, that's
we do.
incredible. I
Yeah,
love
when a
that.
child wants to come up and hug you, and at the first initial, and they'll tell us, so they were kind of standoffish. They probably won't come up to you. They might say hi to you, and then all of a sudden they're running and they're hugging you, like what just happened?
Yeah.
That's just.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Have any of you ever, in our combined years, we probably got close to 40 years, all of us combined. Have you ever seen a child not change from being shy, scared, and by the time we leave, they're giving you high fives and hugs and everything?
Nope, never.
Not once.
Never. Not once.
That's incredible.
We had one child that wouldn't get out of the car, and they wanted
Right.
nothing to do with us. And towards the end, they took the bear, they took the cut, they took the backpack. Now that was huge.
So
That
they
was huge.
they get a cut, and then they get a bear. They get a teddy bear too.
And a blanket and a backpack.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
And what
that.
we do with the teddy bear is we pass it around, and because we want the child to know, especially if there's other chapters that are coming, we want them to know that it's not just Orange County or it's not just LA, that there's other B.A.C.A people that are there for them if they need them. And so we'll hug them, introduce ourselves, and pass it on, and saying, like where you're from, because we'll get people from out of state that'll come to a level 1, and it's, we had one guy, he's in Inland Empire right now, but he was up in Sacramento, and he'd ride his bike down from Sacramento, show up to level 1, and ride right back. Shout out to Patron.
That's how.
All right.
Shout out Patron. Yeah, I'll definitely. No, I don't really like Patron. I like that Patron, not that other Patron. Wow, what a great organization. I can't even begin to thank you guys for your time and your dedication. And anyone listening, like, all those things cost money, right? The backpacks, the cuts, the teddy bears. And so your donations to B.A.C.A go towards an incredible cause that comes alongside children who have been victimized. And I just think you're shining such a bright light in the world. I forgot about the noise. The last thing was, I remember you telling me, so you were saying, like, there's a power in the sound of a motorcycle.
Right.
There's something just about the vibration of it too, that the whole noise and everything is almost like healing. I love it. When I hear it, I love the sound of it. And it is really powerful. When you guys rode up to pick me up at my office, I was like, this is so cool. I was so excited. And then to ride with you, it was just such a treat, such a joy. Thank you so much. You'll have to take me again.
Anytime.
But you were telling me, I think when we discussed previously about your organization, that just the sound of the motorcycle, sometimes the kids, the B.A.C.A kids, like that comforts them some way. Tell us about that.
We'll say if they're sleeping at night and they hear a noise, sometimes it may not be B.A.C.A, but if they hear that motorcycle rumble, they're associating that with B.A.C.A. Or if they, and sometimes we've been riding down the road and we'll see we've seen B.A.C.A kids hang out the window and waving at us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So but that sound of the motorcycle at nighttime, or if they're afraid and they hear that motorcycle, that does bring comfort to them, because it may not be B.A.C.A, but in their mind, B.A.C.A's got their back.
Yeah, B.A.C.A's got their back, right? I love that. I love this. Tell me again just the colors, because I thought that was so cool. Let's end on that note, because
The white,
it's really powerful. Yes.
the white is the innocence of a child. The red is the blood they've shed. The black is the dark times they've gone through. Our fist is the commitment to end child abuse. The skull and crossbones is death to child abuse. And the chain, the motorcycle chain, bicycle chain, whatever, is our united organization. One united organization, one B.A.C.A.
One B.A.C.A united to fight against the darkness and the evil that exists in this world. Well, God bless you guys.
God
I
bless
can't
you.
thank
Thank
you
you.
enough
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show to talk about this amazing organization. I hope everyone listening realizes what a cool, impactful, powerful organization this is, and donates. And if you see them, is there something they should do? Like not say?
Just wave.
Just wait.
Just wave.
Say hi.
Just wave
We'll
to
wave
them and
back.
say hi to them and thank them for their service. Thank you for your service.
Thank
I
you
love
for
what
having
each
us.
and-
I do have an ask.
Yes.
So we're always looking to get in front of people who might not have heard of B.A.C.A. So if you are someone who works with children, knows somebody who works with children, maybe you're in a school or PTA, we're always looking to get in front of people so we can share what we do. As much as we hear of, hey, good to see you again, we also hear, I've never heard of you. So whether you're like a Rotary, a Kiwanis, a Lions Club, any organization, we'll talk to one person, we'll talk to 100 people.
I've done a presentation to the Shakespeare Club in Pasadena. There could be a judge, wife, somebody sitting in that audience. Any place that would like to hear about B.A.C.A will be there.
I love it. I might bring you to my women's group. I'm going to see if they'll, because I think they would love to know.
Any
about
single women in there?
Oh, Sonny,
Now
we
you're
could be
facing
onto
it.
something.
Now my face is red again.
Oh, we could be onto something, Sonny. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. All right, anybody listening too? Sonny's single. Just saying.
Your cameraman
Sam, you like
shaking his
watching
head.
for a reason.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, I love this. Okay, well, gosh, thank you so much. And yeah, anybody who wants to have B.A.C.A come and talk about the organization, just let me know. You can reach me at defeatingthedarkness.com. Is that it, Pete? No, I lied. Defeating the Darkness I don't even know. What's my email, Pete?
Heather Brown Law.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Heather
your-
Brown Law. Go to www.heatherbrownlaw.com. You can find me there and email me, and I'll get the word to B.A.C.A that you want them to come and talk at your organization. Well, that is a wrap. If you can't find the light, you got to be the light like B.A.C.A, bringing light to these children in their darkest hour. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Incredible organization. And if you know somebody who needs them, give them a call. And your website last time is www.bacaworld.org.
Yes.
Have a good one. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Be the light, shine so bright.